Hey, what's up? I am author Jonathan Fink, and this is my audiobook series free on YouTube. We are reading my first fictional novel, The Republic Baseball League, Volume 1. Up next, Chapter 13, The Age of Aquarius. The Age of Aquarius. Sitting at his desk in his office on campus, Professor Dempsey reviewed material for his next class. Then he checked his daily horoscope. Unlike Sarah, he believed in the uncanny accuracy of astrology and was familiar with astrological charts representing the positions of the sun, the moon, the planets, and the timing of certain events on Earth. Deep in thought, Dempsey smiled, thinking about the relevancy of astrology to the lecture he would deliver later that morning. About an hour later, Dempsey walked into the lecture hall. He was wearing his Sandy Koufax Los Angeles Dodgers jersey, white with blue trim, with number 32 on the front and back. Koufax pitched before Dempsey could see him on the mound in person, but according to both his father and grandfather, he was one of the greatest pitchers of all time. In 1972, at the age of 36, Koufax became the youngest player ever to be elected into the Hall of Fame. Standing behind the podium, Dempsey told the class that his lecture today would focus on the article in the reading material written by startup enthusiast Catherine Chan entitled Our Transition from the Age of Pisces to Aquarius, What It Means for Businesses and Meaning of Life. In this context, he asked, by a showing of hands, how many in the class followed their horoscopes and astrological signs. A few students raised their hands. Dempsey said they might find this lecture particularly illuminating. For the students who didn't raise their hands, Dempsey said that after the lecture, they might be inclined to do so. Catherine Chan, who posted her article on the social media business website LinkedIn, believed that humanity, in astrological terms, had moved on from the age of Pisces to enter the age of Aquarius. She paraphrased astrologers who claimed that the age of Aquarius paralleled major changes in the development of Earth's inhabitants relating to human values, culture, society, and politics. In her view, every person on the planet had been or would be affected by this shift. In very technical terms, Chan advocated that the new astrological age occurred about every 2,000 years, and this cycle affected evolution on Earth. Dempsey's lecture emphasized Catherine Chan's description of the differences between the age of Pisces and Aquarius. The author pointed out that the age of Pisces was much more focused on material wealth than the age of Aquarius. Chan prophesied that the energetic vibration on Earth shifted from Earth energies such as consumerism, material values, and hierarchies to air energies, including intellect, information, and collaboration. As this shift moved forward, people would become more focused on creativity and communication. Chan said air was the medium through which thoughts and ideas were communicated and was associated with rationality and contemplative thinking. She concluded that in this air Aquarian age, there would be major advances in humanity's intellectual growth. Paraphrasing the author, Dempsey noted that there were tendencies for the mass majority to follow bosses and religious and governmental leaders in the age of Pisces. This behavior created top-down hierarchies. He continued that the age of Aquarius, contrary to Piscean values, utilized bottom-up initiatives that disrupted old rules and replaced them with new ones. Through competition, collaboration, and community, every person would bring their gifts and skills to the table to work for the greater good. Aquarius valued innovative effort and appreciated each person's individuality. The shift away from Pisces gave rise to technological advancement, a trademark of the Aquarius age. which produced many disruptive innovations for today and tomorrow. Then, Dempsey discussed another basic difference between the ages described in the article. He said that energy shifted into new patterns in the age of Aquarius, and old structures broke down, giving way to new constructions. Contrary to the top-down approach of the age of Pisces, the age of Aquarius rewarded equality and partnerships. Business structure became more circular, seeking ideas from all participants in the project. Businesses operating in the age of Aquarius practiced fairness and cooperation, while those operating in the age of Pisces produced businesses that were dominating and took control. The old ways of self-centeredness and striving for more profit and power under Pisces would no longer be the order of the day. In the age of Aquarius, humanity would come together, collaborate, and be more interconnected. With his technical astrological lecture complete, Dempsey pivoted and applied Catherine Chan's Age of Aquarius concept to baseball. He said to his students, think about a situation where Major League Baseball's political and economic system fell apart. In order to start anew, what would you do to replace it? Can you imagine a new professional baseball league that embraced both conscious capitalism and direct democracy in the age of Aquarius? What would that league look like, and how would it be structured? How would you design the league's political and ownership format? How would the economic system operate, balancing management and employees? Dempsey asked them to ponder the concept over the weekend and be prepared at the next class to discuss their views. The next day, after a late morning breakfast with Sarah, Dempsey drove downtown. He stopped at Lamar Donuts on Main Street and bought a dozen. Then he spent some time at the Kansas City Urban Youth Academy before walking over to the barbershop to talk baseball with his friends. Dempsey entered the card shop and waved hello to Mo Franklin, who was behind the counter chatting with a customer. He walked into the back room with a box of donuts in his hands. Much to his surprise, he saw Rachel, Corey, and RJ sitting around the bridge table with Frank, Henry, and Bobby, drinking Starbucks coffee, trading baseball cards, and talking baseball. Dempsey placed the box from Lamar's on the table and said, well, here are some donuts to go with your coffee. Rachel replied, thanks, Professor Dempsey. I'm glad that you're here. We were just talking about you. Your last lecture really got us thinking. Corey, RJ, and I decided it'd be helpful to discuss some concepts for a new professional baseball league with Mo and his friends because they love baseball. They have many more years of baseball experience than we do, and we don't think we have a monopoly on good ideas, she continued. Preliminarily, we think our new baseball league should embrace free market economics and have a promotion and relegation system like they do in European soccer. Dempsey pulled up his chair to hear more. Corey chimed in. We want our new baseball league to embody many of the ideals in the age of Aquarius. In our view, these include freedom, advanced technology, nonconformity, humanitarianism, and collaboration, with a little rebellion thrown in as well. RJ added, when we combine the ideals of the age of Aquarius with the content of your recent lectures, it all came together for us. For example, rebellion is a theme of the Aquarius age. Well, starting a new baseball league to compete against Major League Baseball is pretty rebellious. The political system of our new league will embrace direct democracy and use modern technology such as mobile phones, iPads, and a blockchain voting system. Our league will be nonconformist, using promotion and relegation system, a model that is not used anywhere in the United States right now. It was obvious that Dempsey was touched to see the impact his lectures had on his students. He also liked the direction their thinking was going. Then he grabbed a jelly donut from the box on the table and paused. During his moment of reflection and gratitude, the idea for a baseball-oriented class project worthy of the age of Aquarius flashed into his mind. End of chapter 13. Up next, chapter 14, The Field of Experimental Economics. I am author Jonathan Fink. This has been my audiobook series. Thank you so much for watching me. If you enjoyed this, please like. If you want to see more of this, please subscribe. And we'll do this again real soon. You guys take care, and long live the Republic Baseball League. God bless.
This month, we have some great sports card stories from across the U.S. and talk to an author from nearby Leawood, Kansas, who has written a book about returning to collecting after 3 decades away.
My day job is I'm a financial advisor, so I've been investing for over 20 years. In a way to express my love for the hobby, I decided, what if I write an investment book, Sports Card Collectors Club, and treat the stock market the same way I would treat the card market. And so I thought, well, how would a day trader invest in cards? How would a venture capitalist buy and sell cards? How would a hedge fund do it? As I would go through my trials and tribulations, I realized that for as much fun as I was having investing, there was something missing. And one day I was watching the Royals game on television, and it was a rain delay. And the Card Life television show came on. I was watching that episode, I was watching Matt Strom open cards and rip packs, and I started getting the warm, fuzzy feeling. I said, this is what I want to be doing. I want to get back to really collecting and ripping cards and building sets. And that's when the story of my book has changed. I go from investing back to collecting.
I'll also open a variety of boxes from different sports. So he hit the home run off me in like the 7th inning. And then in the 8th inning, JT hit a double, so he's standing on second. And Mason Wynn asked him, he's like, hey JT, he's like, I heard Strom collects cards of guys that take him deep. He's like, does that mean he's gonna send me over a couple cards to sign tomorrow? And after the game, we had won. I mean, winning is the only thing that's important to me. So it's like, I was good after the game, whatever, and JT comes up to me and he's like, hey Stromy, he was really genuine. Like he wasn't taking shots. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, when I got to second, Mason asked if you're gonna send a card over for him.
I'm just looking around my basement here, just walls covered with concert posters and toys, and just like, I have no intention of selling these things. I collect because I want to show off the things I love and do it in fun ways. And it just never crossed my mind that, hey, I'm going to go buy this thing just so I can resell it. Like that to me isn't a pure collector mentality. And obviously things change and times change. And, in order for things to survive right now, you have to have that sort of chase for something valuable.
Yeah, it needs to be a circus. You know what? The truth is, I actually watched the live stream on eBay Live with Ken Golden and Logan Paul. They ripped a box of 86 Flair and a box of Series 1 Pokemon. And you know what? It was very entertaining. They're both polarizing characters. I thought it was entertaining. But you know what? After every pull, they immediately are showing the value. And and it begs the question, are we creating, not we, is the industry creating a gambling culture which has a real downside?
It already has. Right. Not created. It's here.
Yeah, and
that's
a concern. I guess for me, I hope to be an influence where we focus more on collecting, because you know what, when markets crash, collectors don't get hurt at all. Because the Sandy Koufax you bought that because it makes you feel good. It brings back good memories.
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight.
You have created community, so let's talk about that. I went to Rip Night at your shop. Let's rip it on the pack. And I went to your Rip Night 2 years ago, and it was one of the best. I wrote about it in volume 1. It was one of the best times I've ever had. You guys had this giant scoreboard where you had the chase cards, and everyone can buy whatever product you wanted, like buy 3, get 1 free, whatever product, whatever it was. You then, if you pull a Bronny James, you then get another blaster. Or I pulled a Reed Shepherd auto, and then I got a free T-shirt. And I sat around the table with strangers and had the best time ever. So let's talk about how important community is. And what you guys do is provide an anchor for community in our town. How important that is.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, one of our taglines, we say we'll make an offer on anything, but like you said, we got to pay what it's worth. And so if it's junk wax, it's going to be junk wax prices, which unfortunately, a lot of people end up thinking that their 87 Topps Barry Bonds is going to be a couple $100 or
it's
something.
Worth nothing, people.
Brand and notoriety. And so when you're pitching these stories to these athletes, like I've reached out to a couple of different athletes about writing a potential article about their collections and having them kind of share their story. And it's like, yes, like I write for collectibles on SI, which is under the Sports Illustrated umbrella, it does carry weight. Like it does, people recognize that brand. It is important. And so I'm super grateful that I've been given the opportunity to write for that staff.
The top segment that was done by you on you was so well produced, right? Did all that come from the conversation you had with Michael Rubin? Is that how that put you on the map to such an extent that all those opportunities happened? How did that happen? Did you get a call one day?
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that bites.
I didn't even collect when I was 3 years old, like when this card came out, but he just pulled a good one. Roman Anthony, from Dempsey, I love Wichita State.
Yeah.
I would have been thrilled if he went to Tulane, but his parents have roots in Nebraska. So for him, it was coming home. And so Nebraska got a good one. And so I'm not surprised that program's on the rise because they got a great stadium, they have great resources, they got a great fan base with people like you, and their recruiting is fantastic. They're finding the talented kids. So
yeah, in fact,
the Big Ten.
So yeah, Will Bolt, the head coach, he actually played at Nebraska when I was traveling with the Nebraska team in the late '90s. He was down at Texas A&M when I worked at Texas A&M. Rob Childress is the pitching coach, and I was on the hiring committee that hired him away from Nebraska to come down at Texas A&M, and they're thrilled that he's back here in Nebraska. He's a genius. The number of players in pro ball right now that went through Rob Childress, so he'll be under good guidance when he gets up here to Nebraska. They're good people.
One kid found a mantle in the rain. One old friend came back with the same old chain.
Talk to me about the reaction of the players, the other players, when they see this bat putter. Are they flipping out? They freak out when they see it?
And they see it and they're like, they just stop. Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So the reason why I asked that question is because I had that experience literally yesterday. So when I first got the bat putter, I think I bought it 6 months ago, and it's customized for the Republic Baseball League, which is so cool. And now that I realize, now that I love it so much, and I got to use it yesterday, I'm like, I got to start buying them for different people. Like anyone's a guest on my show, they're gonna get a bat putter, okay? Yeah. But the point is, I had never used it because I thought it was too sacred to me. I keep it in my office like a sacred shrine. It means so much to me. But then I was like, after watching all these videos and stuff, I'm like, you know what? There's this indoor amazing place in Kansas City called Tap-Ins. Okay, they have an outdoor putt, but also indoor. And depending on the weather, the whole thing, it's amazing atrium, and it's become a successful business. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's a perfect. It was a hot day. I'm like, it's a perfect thing to do. So my buddy Paul Greenwood, who I featured in my first book, we went and played around. And when I showed up with this bat putter, people were freaking out. They were literally losing their minds, and that's when I realized. So then, and then, by the way, it was a Sunday, middle of the day, hot as heck. I want to see how it gets made, but you probably do actually.
I want to see if there's quality control testers there.
But attention! If anyone in the tops is watching, Grip and Rep we want to get invited to a tour at a factory. The two of us.
I told them I would work for free.
Right.
I would work absolutely free. I want to see how their stuff's made.
Yeah, I'm curious. But like collation is like I'm sure there's a bunch of engineers that sit around and design.
Got some breaking news for you.
Yeah.
Slab just texted me.
No way. What do you say? The
numbers looks like this is the first year to hear it. Who is that?
Right.
Let me see here.
Breaking news. Grip and Rep. Breaking news.
Oh, U.S. agent. Okay, so I just got told that the finest mega boxes are going to be really, really, really good.
Oh, interesting.
1.6 numbered cards a box. So you're guaranteed one numbered card with a 60% chance to pull a second numbered card.
Wow,
and
interesting.
Autos are 1 in 3.
Whoa. So do you think that Topps decided to go big because this is their first year with Topps Finest in retail?
I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Right? Because
I do think so.
You usually get so upset with the delayed numbers, they're delaying them. Or maybe, by the way, I don't know if it's a conspiracy that the odds are coming out later. I just feel that maybe they're just not as efficient as they used to be.
You might have watched this game back
I'm sure I did.
Currently,
it's Derek Coleman. Yeah, he was on my fantasy team for sure.
Pretty crazy to think, in the future you would be able to collect that moment that you watched.
Right. And by the way, check that out. It's worth $198 versus the ones that are worth 35 cents because it makes sense. Because the same way that you value your 1964 Willie Mays card, you're going to value your Drazen Petrovic, and you're not going to want to give it up unless it's for a very, very good price because you love that memory. And what's wild is the same way that you get the warm, fuzzy feeling with dopamine hit, whatever, when you look at a card on your shelf, It's the same thing, but when you're online at the bank, you don't have your cards with you, Paulie, but you do have your phone, and you can pull up your Drazen Petrovic and pay respect to him and watch a couple of his awesome plays that give you the warm fuzzies because you can. It's wild. And so